Welcome back, American Coin Hunter. Today, we're diving into one of America's most recognized and collected coins, the 1976 D Lincoln cent, exploring everything from its history and design to mint specifications, weight, and what makes certain era varieties worth serious cash in the numismatic market. When most people think of a penny, they think of something so common and everyday, something you might find in a jar on a shelf or loose at the bottom of your wallet. But for collectors around the world, 1-cent coins like the 1976 D variety can hold fascinating stories and even surprising value depending on condition and rarity. The 1976 Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint, marked with a small D just below the date on the obverse side of the coin, and is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Series introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln cent itself was first issued in 1909 and is one of the most enduring and beloved coin designs in U.S. history, carrying the portrait of Lincoln on the front and, on the reverse of the 1976 version, the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo. This coin is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc and weighs approximately 3.11 grams with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, with a plain smooth edge. The design of the Lincoln cent dates back to legendary designer Victor David Brenner, whose original obverse portrait of Lincoln was first used in 1909 and has endured for more than a century, symbolizing not just American currency, but American heritage. The reverse side, introduced in 1959, features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a fitting tribute to a president synonymous with unity and perseverance. The 1976 D cent was minted in large numbers, over 4.2 billion pieces, making it a common coin in everyday circulation. Now most 1976 D cents in circulation are worth only face value or a little above it. Typical circulated coins might fetch just a few cents when sold to collectors or dealers, and even in uncirculated condition, they can range from a few dollars up to perhaps several $100s for the very best examples. Some mint state coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, especially in full red color with strong strike detail, can reach a few $100s at auction, but this is the exception, not the norm. What really sparks collectors' interest are errors and varieties, coins that were struck improperly by the mint and escaped into circulation or collectors' hands. Not all errors are valuable, but some can be quite collectible if they are dramatic, rare, and authenticated by grading services. Common error types include off-center strikes where the planchet wasn't lined up properly in the press and part of the design is missing, die break errors where cracks in the dies cause raised metal lines or blobs on the coin surface, lamination errors where the metal layers separate creating rough or peeling surfaces, and double dies where the design elements appear duplicated due to misalignment during die preparation. Point one particularly intriguing error variety, sometimes reported with 1976 D. Pennies, though extremely rare, is when a cent is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a copper-nickel planchet. These off-metal errors are visual oddities because the coin will appear silvery rather than reddish copper and will often weigh significantly more, perhaps around 5 grams instead of the normal 3.11 grams. These off-metal examples have sold at auction for over $1,000 in some cases, especially when authenticated and graded by a respected service. Collectors also keep an eye out for strong double-die obverse errors. Though 1976 pennies are not known for dramatic doubled dies, minor doubling on the date or lettering can occur and sometimes add extra value. Other errors like BIE die breaks, where a crack between the letters B and E of Liberty creates the appearance of an extra I. Clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is missing due to a blanking error, and significant off-center strikes can dramatically increase interest. Values vary widely based on the severity of the error and the coin's overall condition. An off-center strike where the date and key design elements remain visible can command well into triple digits with the right collector, while minor misalignments might only fetch a few tens of dollars. It's also important to be aware of counterfeits or altered coins. Because certain error coins can be desirable, some unscrupulous individuals have attempted to create fake double dies or other apparent errors by mechanical means or by striking coins multiple times with different dies. Experts caution that obvious signs like weak details inconsistent with legitimate die characteristics are often indicators of modern tampering rather than true mint errors. If you believe you have a rare error coin, sending it to a reputable grading service for authentication is always recommended. Now let's talk about condition, grading, and market value trends. Coins are graded on a scale from poor condition up through mint state grades like MS60 to MS68+, with color and strike quality affecting value. A circulated 1976 D penny might be worth just a few cents or a few dollars, while uncirculated examples with full original red color and excellent strike may bring more premium prices, sometimes several $100s at auction. Records show that top-graded 1976 cents with exceptional eye appeal have sold at public auctions for thousands of dollars in rare cases. Though these are extreme outliers, one important piece of history to understand is that the 1976 cent was produced during a massive transitional period in U.S. coinage. Just a few years later, in 1982, the composition of the penny was changed from the traditional 95% copper planchet to the modern predominantly zinc planchet with a thin copper plating due to rising copper prices. As a result, the 1976 series and other pre-1982 pennies are highly collectible simply because they represent the old copper era of Lincoln cents. Collectors who dig into error coins know that the keys to value are rarity, condition, and verified authenticity. A dramatic error with a well-documented backstory and professional grading can bring substantial prices from serious collectors. But towering astronomical claims, like $241 million for a 1976 D error penny, do not exist in any reputable auction record. Instead, realistic top auction prices for even rare and dramatic modern error pennies rarely exceed the low thousands or tens of thousands of dollars at the most extreme. The real money in the penny world often lies in much older and rarer coins, such as the famous 1943 bronze Lincoln cent error, which sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars and is the stuff of numismatic legend. Continuing with the story of the 1976 D Lincoln cent, it's fascinating to consider how this coin fits into the broader context of the Lincoln Memorial series and American coinage history. While the obverse features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, carefully engraved by Victor David Brenner, what many collectors may not realize is that subtle variations in his portrait, the date, and the mint mark can distinguish one coin from another, especially when examining coins struck at different mints. The Denver Mint, identified by the D beneath the date, was responsible for striking billions of these coins, but even within such high-volume production, the intricacies of the coining process allowed for occasional errors, which now captivate collectors. These errors may range from minor doubling on the date or letters to dramatic off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or even die cracks that create raised lines and unusual shapes across the coin's surface. Some errors, although subtle, are highly sought after because they are documented and recognized in numismatic references as authentic anomalies. Collectors study each letter, each stroke, and even the spacing between letters, as these small details can separate a standard circulation coin from a rare collectible. The Lincoln Memorial Reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, depicts the Lincoln Memorial with remarkable detail. In the center, the seated Lincoln statue is visible between the columns, and the word United States of America arches across the top. For collectors, subtle differences in the relief, in the sharpness of the columns, or the depth of the inscriptions can indicate the quality of the strike and potentially influence the coin's grading. In coins with errors, the reverse can also reveal anomalies. For example, doubling on the word 1 cent, die cracks appearing as tiny raised lines, or even unintentional variations where the metal flows differently due to planchet imperfections. These tiny differences, almost invisible to casual observers, are what numismatists chase, often using magnifying lenses and professional microscopes to examine each coin meticulously. When it comes to weight, the 1976 D Lincoln cent adheres to the classic specifications of the copper-based cent struck prior to 1982. The standard planchet weighs approximately 3.11 grams, is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The metal composition gives the coin its distinctive reddish hue, especially when uncirculated coins maintain their original luster. Interestingly, Errors such as off-metal strikes can dramatically affect the weight, creating coins heavier or lighter than the standard. For instance, a copper cent struck on a zinc or nickel planchet might weigh closer to 5 grams or differ significantly in thickness, creating a visually striking error that collectors prize for its rarity. Weights that fall outside the normal range are often the first indicator of a true mint error, prompting collectors to investigate further. Die varieties, although not as pronounced in 1976 as in other years, are another key area of interest. Minor doubling on the obverse, sometimes called micro-doubling, may appear along the date or the word liberty, and when authenticated, can add value. Major die errors like die cracks, cuts where part of the design is missing, or broad strikes where the coin expands beyond normal boundaries, though extremely rare, can exponentially increase a coin's desirability. Even coins with minor errors, when preserved in uncirculated condition, can command higher prices than standard circulation examples. Collectors often pay premiums for coins in MS65 and above, especially if the coin retains full red color, showing the original copper brilliance without fading or toning from circulation. The history behind the 1976 D penny also adds to its appeal. 1976 was the bicentennial year of the United States, though Lincoln cents did not feature the bicentennial dual-dated design until 1970 SIXS quarters, halves, and dollars. Nevertheless, 1976 pennies carry historical weight as coins circulating during a period of renewed national celebration. They are part of the generation of coins collected by millions of Americans during a time when coin collecting was a widespread hobby, connecting the 1976 D to both history and culture. Collectors today not only seek the coins for their metal or rarity, but also for their connection to the era, making these cents a tangible link to 1970s America. The market value of the 1976 D penny is heavily influenced by condition, error type, and collector demand. Regular circulated coins are largely worth face value, though coins with deep red coloration or minimal wear can reach a few dollars. Uncirculated examples, particularly those graded MS63 to MS65, are more collectible and may sell for tens or even a few $100s depending on the buyer. Coins with dramatic errors can exceed these values, especially if verified by grading services like PCGS or NGC. Authentic error coins, such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, or unusual metal composition, can reach higher premiums, but realistic market records show that even the rarest modern error Lincoln cents rarely reach the millions. Most high-value examples sell for a few hundred or a few $1,000s. For example, a well-documented off-metal 1976 D penny sold at auction might reach $1,000 or more, while extreme but verified off-center strikes could fetch slightly higher prices. Professional grading is a critical part of determining value. The coin's condition, color, strike quality, and presence of any defects are carefully evaluated. Collectors often prefer coins that have been authenticated and encapsulated in tamper-proof holders to ensure the coin's authenticity and preserve its condition. Grading not only protects the coin but also gives potential buyers confidence in the market, which directly impacts the final sale price. A coin with a minor error in poor condition may only be worth a few dollars, while the same coin with a strong strike, brilliant red color, and verification by a grading service can reach several $100s. The collector market values both rarity and presentation. Continuing with the exploration of the 1976 D Lincoln cent, let's take a closer look at specific error types that collectors seek and the fascinating stories behind them. One of the most widely recognized and visually striking errors is the off-center strike, which occurs when the planchet is not correctly positioned in the coin press. This can result in coins where a portion of the design is completely missing, revealing blank areas on either the obverse, reverse, or both. In some extreme cases, more than 40% of the design is missing, creating a visually dramatic coin that is instantly recognizable even to casual observers. These off-center strikes can occur naturally due to mechanical misfeeds in the minting process, and because of their rarity and unique appearance, they can command prices from several hundred to over $1,000 depending on severity and condition. Collectors love these coins not just for their potential monetary value, but for the sheer curiosity and rarity factor. Each one is a physical representation of a moment when the highly controlled minting process temporarily went awry. Another category of errors that can appear on 1976 D pennies is die cracks and cuts. A die crack occurs when the die used to strike the coin develops a fissure due to repeated use and stress. These cracks transfer onto the coins as raised lines or irregular patterns of metal. In more pronounced cases, the break can produce a cud, where a portion of the coin's design is completely missing and the metal flows around the void, creating an unusual raised blob of copper. Die cracks and cuds are more subtle than off-center strikes, but are highly collectible because they reveal the physical wear and tear of the minting process. Each crack is unique, making the coin a one-of-a-kind artifact. Coins with die cracks or cuds in uncirculated condition often attract premiums, particularly if the crack is unusual, well-defined, and aesthetically interesting. Some collectors focus specifically on die-related errors, seeking out these anomalies as a specialized area of numismatics. Double dies are another error that can affect the 1976 D Lincoln cent, though they are rarer in this particular year. Double dies occur during the preparation of the die itself, where design elements are accidentally engraved twice. This can result in visible doubling of the date, the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or other inscriptions on the coin. Even minor doubling, sometimes called micro-doubling, can increase the coin's value, particularly when verified by professional grading services. The most dramatic double dies, which are extremely rare, can add substantial value, though these are more commonly found in older coins like 1955 or 1969 Lincoln cents. For 1976 D pennies, any significant doubling is a curiosity and generally collectible because it is unusual and well documented. Planchet errors are another fascinating subset. These occur when the metal blank intended to become a coin is flawed. Examples include lamination errors, where layers of metal separate during striking, leaving rough, peeling surfaces, clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to improper blanking, and off-metal errors, where the planchet is made of the wrong metal composition. Off-metal errors are especially dramatic because the coin may appear silvery or gray instead of the usual reddish copper. These errors also often weigh differently than a standard 1976 D penny, which should be 3.11 grams. A coin weighing significantly more or less than this standard immediately attracts attention from collectors. Some off-metal 1976 D pennies have sold for over $1,000 at auction when authenticated and graded, particularly when they are dramatic and visually striking. Understanding the grading process is crucial when considering the value of these error coins. Coins are evaluated on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from poor, 1 to perfect mint state, 70. Circulated coins typically grade anywhere from good, 4 to extremely fine, 45, while uncirculated coins may grade MS60 to MS68 or higher. A 1976 D penny in MS65 with full red color is already highly desirable, but adding a verified error can significantly increase the coin's collectible value. Professional graders look for strike quality, color, luster, and the presence of any errors or anomalies. Coins that are encapsulated in tamper-proof holders with verified grading carry more trust in the market, making them more liquid and often commanding higher prices. The historical context of the 1976 D penny also contributes to its appeal. In 1976, the United States celebrated its bicentennial, a momentous occasion, though the Lincoln penny did not feature the dual-date design like the quarter, half-dollar, or dollar coin. Nevertheless, the 1976 D penny represents a piece of everyday history circulating during a unique cultural moment in the United States. For collectors, owning this coin is like holding a piece of American history, a tangible artifact that was part of daily life in the 1970s. Coins from this era carry a nostalgia factor, making them desirable not only for their metal or error potential, but also for their cultural significance. The market value of 1976 D pennies depends heavily on both condition and rarity. Common circulated examples are generally worth face value or slightly more, while uncirculated examples with brilliant red color can fetch anywhere from a few dollars to several $100s. Error coins are the true wildcards. Minor off-center strikes or subtle die cracks may only add tens of dollars, while dramatic off-center strikes, broad strikes, or off-metal errors can sell for hundreds or even over $1,000. While sensationalized claims sometimes circulate online about pennies worth millions, real-world auction data confirms that even rare modern error Lincoln cents rarely exceed a few $1,000s. And the most valuable modern errors are exceptional precisely because they are documented, certified, and in excellent condition. Collectors who focus on errors often study the coins with magnification tools, comparing the coins to reference guides and photographic documentation. They check for the exact alignment of the mint mark, the spacing of letters, and the depth of the strike. A subtle doubling in the letters or numbers, a tiny die crack, or an unusual metal flow pattern can make a dramatic difference in value. The thrill of discovering such an error is a key part of the hobby. It's not only about potential monetary gain, but also about uncovering a piece of minting history that survived the production line and entered circulation by chance. Another point of interest is the color and toning of the penny, which can affect desirability. Lincoln cents from this period were struck in high copper planchets, and the rich red color is highly sought after in uncirculated coins. Coins that retain their original red color without turning brown or developing uneven toning are more collectible. Even slight changes in hue, such as red-brown coins, may reduce value slightly, while coins that are fully red and with sharp strike detail often achieve top prices at auctions. Toning patterns that are unusual yet aesthetically pleasing can also enhance interest among collectors. The 1976 Lincoln cent is an excellent example of how even a common coin can become remarkable through errors, quality preservation, and historical significance. Each coin tells a story, from its journey through the mint presses to its circulation in the hands of ordinary Americans, to its eventual discovery by collectors decades later. Error coins, in particular, create narratives of imperfection and chance, where mechanical mistakes become coveted anomalies. Every crack, off-center strike, or unusual metal composition is a snapshot of history, preserved in copper and carrying the legacy of America's most iconic president. Continuing with the 1976 Lincoln cent, it's important to understand how these coins perform in the marketplace, especially the ones with authentic errors, because their value is heavily influenced by collector demand, rarity, and condition. While the standard circulated 1976 penny may only be worth face value, uncirculated examples, particularly those in MS-63 to MS-65 condition with full red luster, are highly sought after by collectors. Coins with documented errors can bring even higher premiums. For example, off-center strikes where more than 20% of the design is missing tend to attract strong interest, and coins with extreme off-center strikes can fetch hundreds or even over $1,000 at auction. Broad strike errors, where the coin expands beyond its normal diameter due to misalignment in the press, are equally collectible and often show dramatic, stretched designs that immediately capture attention. The presence of any error that is visually striking, rare, and authenticated can significantly affect the market price, making even a 1976 penny potentially much more valuable than its face value suggests. One of the key factors in valuing 1976 pennies with errors is professional authentication and grading. Organizations like PCGS and NGC specialize in evaluating coins for authenticity, condition, and error type. When a coin is encapsulated and certified, it gains credibility in the marketplace, and buyers are more willing to pay premiums because they know the coin's attributes are verified. Coins with errors that are unverified often sell for far less because buyers are wary of potential alterations or fakes. Verification not only protects collectors, but also ensures that the coin can be traded or sold reliably in the auction market. Many collectors focus on coins that have been professionally graded because the coin's grade, color, strike quality, and error authenticity all combine to determine its true market value. Examining auction records for modern error pennies helps to illustrate realistic pricing. While sensational claims sometimes suggest that 1976 error pennies are worth astronomical sums, actual auction results show more measured values. For instance, a 1976 penny with a mild off-center strike might sell for $200 to $500 depending on severity and eye appeal. Coins with more extreme off-center strikes, strong broad strikes, or verified off-metal compositions can reach $1,000 or slightly more at auction. Coins with die cracks, cuds, or subtle double die features are also collectible and often command hundreds of dollars when preserved in uncirculated condition. The key takeaway is that dramatic errors, particularly those that are visually striking and well-documented, are what drive collector interest and higher prices. Collectors looking to invest in 1976-era pennies often examine multiple attributes to identify coins with high value potential. First, the type of error is critical. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, cuds, and off-metal errors are among the most desirable. Second, coin condition plays a major role. A coin with full red color, minimal wear, and sharp details is far more valuable than the same coin in circulated condition, even if both have the same type of error. Third, authentication and certification by a respected grading service ensures that buyers trust the coin, allowing for higher auction prices and easier resale. These three factors, error type, condition, and certification, form the foundation of value assessment for the 1976 Lincoln Cent. Collectors should also be aware of common pitfalls in error identification. Some coins that appear to have doubled dies or off-center strikes may actually have post-mint damage, intentional alterations, or die polishing artifacts that mimic errors. For example, coins that have been mechanically altered to exaggerate doubling or have been clipped after striking are considered tampered and generally have little collector value. Professionals advise using magnification, reference books, and comparison with authenticated error coins to ensure accuracy. Coins that are truly rare and dramatic are highly prized, but misidentified or altered coins can lead to disappointment. Careful study, authentication, and comparison are essential for identifying genuinely valuable error coins. The 1976 Lincoln Cent also has interesting historical and cultural significance that adds intangible value for collectors. As part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, the coin carries Abraham Lincoln's legacy and the symbolism of unity and perseverance. It was minted during a time of national reflection and celebration, coinciding with the U.S. bicentennial year of 1976. Even though the cent itself did not feature the dual-date bicentennial design, it circulated alongside quarters, half dollars, and dollars that did, and thus it forms part of the broader narrative of American numismatic history during this era. Collecting these coins connects enthusiasts not only to the metal and mint marks, but also to the cultural context and stories of everyday America in the 1970s. From a practical perspective, collectors often use scales, magnifiers, and light sources to examine 1976 era pennies. Checking the coin's weight is crucial, particularly for suspected off-metal errors, which will deviate from the standard 3.11 grams of copper-based cents. Observing the coin under different angles of light can reveal die cracks, cuds, or subtle doubling. Collectors also pay attention to the alignment of the mint mark, the sharpness of the letters, and the strike depth. Even slight irregularities that might be overlooked by casual observers can indicate a significant mint error. Patience and meticulous inspection are essential skills in identifying coins that may have collector value far beyond face value. Another point of interest is the color and toning of the penny. Copper-based Lincoln cents like the 1976 typically retain a reddish color in uncirculated condition. Coins that maintain their original red luster are far more desirable than brown or red-brown coins, though certain aesthetically pleasing toning patterns can enhance appeal for some collectors. A coin with bright red color, full details, and an authentic error will attract serious interest in both auction and private sales. For modern coins like the 1976 maintaining pristine condition over decades is a challenge, which adds to the appeal of uncirculated examples that have preserved their original beauty. The 1976 penny exemplifies how even a small, everyday coin can hold fascination and value when examined through the lens of numismatics. Whether it's a standard uncirculated example, a dramatic off-center strike, a broad strike, or an off-metal anomaly, each coin has a story to tell. Collectors cherish these coins not only for their monetary potential, but also for the historical narratives they represent, the technical intricacies of minting, and the thrill of discovering an anomaly that escaped the press and survived decades of circulation. Every die crack, every subtle doubling, and every off-center strike preserves a moment in mint history, turning a humble 1-cent piece into a collectible treasure with enduring interest. Continuing with the 1976 Lincoln cent, let's explore some of the most extreme and fascinating error examples that collectors seek, because these are the coins that truly stand out in the marketplace. Among the most dramatic are extremely off-center strikes, where a large portion of the design is missing on one side. In these coins, it's possible to see only part of Lincoln's profile on the obverse, or perhaps only the word United or a few columns of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These coins are immediately recognizable even without magnification and are rare because the mint presses were designed for precise alignment. The more extreme the misalignment, the more collectible the coin. Collectors refer to these as 50% off-center or even 65% off-center strikes, indicating the percentage of the design that is missing. Each of these coins is a unique accident of history, and even among collectors of modern Lincoln cents, finding a truly dramatic off-center strike is a significant achievement. Another fascinating category is broad strike errors, which occur when a coin expands beyond its normal diameter due to improper pressure or misalignment in the coin press. These coins often appear stretched, with letters and designs elongated, and the edges sometimes exhibit a flattened, thin appearance. Broad strikes are visually dramatic and can appear almost like a different coin altogether, especially when combined with other anomalies such as minor off-center alignment or weak striking in parts of the design. In the 1976 D series, broad strikes are not common, but when they appear, they become the highlight of any collection and often fetch higher premiums than standard uncirculated coins because of their rarity and striking visual impact. Off-metal errors are another category that attracts serious collector interest. These occur when a planchet intended for a different denomination or made of the wrong metal is struck as a Lincoln cent. Because the metal composition is incorrect, the coin often appears lighter or heavier, silvery instead of reddish copper, and sometimes has a slightly different texture. Weight verification is critical here. A standard 1976 D penny should weigh approximately 3.11 grams. Off-metal errors might weigh significantly more or less, depending on the substitute planchet used. Coins like these are dramatic and collectible because they represent a serious deviation from the standard minting process, and verified examples can sell for hundreds or even over $1,000 depending on the visual appeal and severity of the error. Collectors also examine die cracks and cuds in great detail. In some 1976 D pennies, die cracks may appear as fine raised lines radiating from the rim or intersecting the design. When these cracks grow large enough, they form a cud, a raised blob where the design has failed to form due to a piece of the die breaking away. These anomalies are intriguing because they tell the story of a die under stress, producing imperfect coins that survived into circulation. Each crack and cud is unique, making the coin a one-of-a-kind artifact of minting history. The more dramatic and well-defined the anomaly, the higher the collector interest. Coins with cuds that create visually interesting shapes, sometimes even resembling letters or symbols, are particularly desirable. Doubled dies, while less common in 1976 D pennies, are also important to collectors. Subtle doubling on the date, mint mark, or inscriptions like Liberty can add value. Extreme doubled dies, which are rare in this series, can result in strikingly duplicated features on the coin, creating a surreal, almost 3D effect. Even minor doubled die varieties, when verified and in excellent condition, are prized because they are unusual and authenticated examples are scarce. Collectors carefully study these coins under magnification to confirm whether doubling is genuine or merely a post-mint anomaly. When it comes to spotting valuable 1976 D pennies, collectors rely on a combination of observation, tools, and knowledge. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe is essential for detecting small die cracks, subtle doubling, or minor off-center strikes. A precision scale is useful for verifying planchet weight, especially when suspecting off-metal errors. Lighting also plays a role. Tilting the coin under bright light reveals raised areas from die cracks, subtle variations in strike depth, and anomalies in the metal surface. Comparing the coin with reference images from verified error coins helps distinguish authentic errors from post-mint damage or counterfeit alterations. Patience and meticulous attention to detail are critical in evaluating coins accurately. Historical context adds another layer of interest. The 1976 D penny circulated during a period of national celebration, the bicentennial year, and while the coin itself did not feature the dual-date design, it was part of the monetary ecosystem of the era. Collectors often enjoy imagining these coins passing from hand to hand during parades, celebrations, and everyday life, adding a tangible historical dimension to their hobby. Knowing that a rare off-center or broad strike penny from 1976 may have been in circulation during a unique moment in American history enhances its intrinsic value beyond just the metal or error. The market trends for 1976 D pennies show that errors drive collector interest more than standard circulation coins. Circulated coins are worth their face value or slightly more. Uncirculated coins in full red condition may reach a few $100s in the market, and coins with dramatic errors such as extreme off-center strikes, broad strikes, or off-metal compositions can exceed $1,000. Auction results consistently show that collectors value visual impact, rarity, and condition above all. Coins with subtle anomalies in poor condition may have limited value, while dramatic and certified examples can command strong attention and premium pricing. Collectors also appreciate the aesthetic qualities of Lincoln cents. The copper's natural reddish luster, the sharp details in the Lincoln portrait and the Lincoln memorial, and the balance of the design all contribute to a coin's appeal. Even in modern-era pennies, eye appeal matters. A coin that is clean, sharply struck, and visually striking will sell for more than a similar coin that is worn or dull. Coin collectors often focus on the combination of error type, condition, and aesthetic appeal when assessing value. Finally, the 1976 D penny demonstrates the magic of collecting in miniature form. Even a coin worth just a few cents can become a centerpiece of a collection if it features a dramatic error, a unique die crack, or a historically interesting background. Each coin tells a story, a moment in mint history, a human error preserved in metal, and a tangible link to everyday American life in the 1970s. Collectors cherish these stories, whether for monetary value, historical interest, or simply the joy of discovering something rare and unique. The combination of artistry, history, and randomness makes the 1976 D Lincoln cent a fascinating study for both seasoned numismatists and beginner collectors alike. As we conclude our deep dive into the 1976 D Lincoln cent, it's important to understand the current market landscape for these coins, especially error varieties, and how collectors and investors approach buying, selling, and valuing them today. Modern numismatics has created a well-documented, professional marketplace where the rarity, condition, and authenticity of a coin determine its value far more than speculation or anecdotal claims. For a 1976 D penny, the majority of coins in circulation are worth face value, but uncirculated examples in brilliant red condition, graded MS-63 to MS-65, can command premiums ranging from a few dollars to several $100s, depending on the buyer's interest and auction dynamics. Dramatic error coins, such as extreme off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, cuds, or off-metal anomalies, can push the value even higher, with some examples fetching over $1,000 at auction. While sensational claims of multi-million-dollar pennies exist online, these are myths. Verified records of 1976 D penny sales confirm realistic values are in the low thousands at most for extreme. Certified errors point one way collectors maximize value is by professional certification. Coins sent to PCGS, NGC, or ANAX are examined for strike quality, color, condition, and error type. Encapsulation and tamper-proof holders not only protects the coin, but also enhances its marketability. Buyers feel confident purchasing certified coins because authenticity and grade have been verified by experienced professionals, reducing the risk of buying altered or misrepresented coins. Certified error coins almost always command higher prices at auctions than uncertified coins, even if the error appears obvious. This makes certification a key step for anyone considering selling a dramatic 1976 D penny. Auction results provide a real-world view of collector demand. For example, off-center strikes in the 1976 D series have sold for several hundred to over $1,000 depending on severity. A broad strike or a dramatic off-metal penny might fetch higher amounts if the visual impact is strong and the coin is uncirculated. Die cracks and cuts, especially when aesthetically interesting and preserved in high-grade condition, also attract strong bids. Even subtle double die examples, though rare in the 1976 D series, are collectible because they are unusual and verified. The auction market emphasizes eye appeal, rarity, and documented authenticity over mere face value, and coins that combine all three factors often achieve the best results. Collectors interested in building a 1976 D penny-era collection should focus on several key strategies. First, knowledge and research are paramount. Understanding typical error types, consulting numismatic references, and reviewing authenticated examples helps identify truly valuable coins. Second, tools and inspection techniques are critical. Magnification, proper lighting, and accurate scales allow collectors to detect die cracks, off-center strikes, off-metal errors, and other anomalies. Third, patience and timing are essential. Coins may appear in circulation unexpectedly, and auctions provide opportunities to acquire rare examples at reasonable prices when demand fluctuates. Finally, professional verification and grading ensure that the coins are respected and trusted in the collector community, maximizing potential value. Another factor influencing modern market value is condition retention and color preservation. Lincoln cents struck in copper-based planchets retain their red luster when uncirculated, and full red coins are more valuable than red-brown or brown coins. Eye appeal and strike sharpness play a major role in valuation. A dramatic error coin that is also visually striking will always command more attention than one that appears dull or worn. Collectors often seek coins that combine strong error attributes with attractive color and detail, creating the ideal balance of rarity and aesthetic appeal. The 1976 D penny also reminds collectors of the human and mechanical elements of minting. Every off-center strike, die crack, or unusual metal anomaly reflects a moment when the normally precise minting process was imperfect. These imperfections, captured in copper, create collectible narratives of chance, rarity, and artistry. Even a coin that initially seems mundane may contain subtle features that tell a unique story of mint history, making it appealing to numismatists who study not only monetary value, but also historical context in terms of practical advice for buying and selling. Collectors are advised to carefully inspect coins before purchase, verify any suspected errors through reference guides and professional consultation, and consider certification for coins that are particularly rare or dramatic. Selling through reputable auction houses or platforms with a focus on collectible coins ensures transparency and access to serious collectors. Coins that are misrepresented, altered, or uncertified may not achieve their true potential value, whereas properly authenticated coins can command top prices and attract global interest. Finally, the enduring appeal of the 1976 D Lincoln cent lies in its combination of history, design, error potential, and collectability. From its iconic Lincoln portrait by Victor David Brenner to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse by Frank Gasparo, the coin embodies a century of American numismatic tradition. The copper composition, precise strike details, and potential for errors like off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, cuts, off-metal anomalies, and subtle double dies make it endlessly fascinating. For collectors, each coin tells a story, a slice of mint history preserved in copper, a connection to 1970s America, and an opportunity to discover something rare and unique. The 1976 D Lincoln cent with errors demonstrates that even a humble 1-cent coin can become a collectible treasure. Its value is determined by rarity, condition, authenticity, and aesthetic appeal, while its history provides a deeper layer of cultural significance. Collectors, both novice and experienced, find excitement in searching for these coins, analyzing anomalies, and understanding the technical intricacies of minting. Whether it's a dramatic off-center strike, a broad strike, a subtle die crack, or an off-metal error, each coin is a tangible artifact of history that survived the minting process, circulation, and decades of everyday life. In conclusion, the 1976 D Lincoln cent exemplifies the thrill of coin collecting. The combination of chance, historical context, artistry, and market dynamics creates a hobby that is intellectually stimulating, visually satisfying, and potentially rewarding. While face value may be just 1 cent, the story, rarity, and collectible nature of error coins give this humble penny a significance far beyond its nominal monetary value. For collectors, every 1976 D penny is more than metal. It is history, chance, and the excitement of discovery, preserved in the palm of the hand for generations to come. This completes our comprehensive exploration of the 1976 D Lincoln cent with errors, including detailed analysis of coin specifications, error types, grading, market trends, auction results, and practical tips for collectors. Whether you are a serious numismatist or a hobbyist, understanding these factors allows you to appreciate the value, history, and artistry of even the smallest coin, and make searching for rare 1976 D error pennies an endlessly engaging pursuit.